JC Collective and
Collin here.
And we are ready to bring you episode 12 of season 3 of the Bad Batch, Juggernaut. Really, dude, I'm not gonna lie. This was such a fake out of a name. I was really expecting a dude in a big helmet to just be busting through some walls and
especially
stuff.
with the X-Men.
And with you know, X-Men going on. I was just really expecting it, but you know, like I didn't get it. But despite that,
this was definitely a kind of what you would have expected episode after she just gets taken back, after Omega gets taken back to Tantus, because we saw that in the last episode. She kind of sacrificed herself for the betterment of like her team and for the sake of the town in Pabu. On Pabu.
Because like she loved all those people there, and they like all took her in with open arms and stuff. They all like loved her too. Like Omega's the best.
Yeah, and she's not she's not wasting any time trying to protect everybody else now.
One thing though that has become very clear, like that I mentioned, I was like, I don't know, maybe there's a slight chance that she has and she doesn't have a second tracker on her. Like she only had the one. No. She only had the one, and so like.
Which we'll get to. But anyway, with only 3 episodes left after this, we are in the end game, right? Like this is straight up the end game for the series. And it's definitely wrapping some things up here. And I've noted this before, but like Omega this whole season have seemingly like definitely taken on all of her training from the previous 2 seasons, and has just like kept a cool demeanor throughout this episode that was like very calculated. You know, she was taking note, you could tell. She wasn't just because she wasn't like scared. She wasn't really. She was just asking questions, getting straight answers.
You know, like
she chose this path. Like like they'll say in a minute, Crosshair. They kind of blame Crosshair, but it's like, you know, come on.
He's like, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, that's a tough one to kind of blame Crosshair, but like, I love this back and forth where like even Emery, where she's like, you know, like, I'm glad you're safe, and like Omega's like, am I?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you know,
so we get the episode
asking
starts
the tough questions here.
Exactly.
Omega asking the tough questions.
Exactly.
I love it.
Because Emery does get a little shocked. But so the episode anyway started with Omega arriving back on Tantus, being escorted by the Shadow Trooper, just kind of like pushed off into Dr. Hemlock's hands. And then he takes her inside the facility to kind of, and throughout that he's telling her like what they're doing, what the M count thing's about, and he has he meets Emery in the thing and says, you know, run tests on her immediately, and then this is when Omega just asks those questions like, where's Nala say, you know, and it's like, you know, Hemlock. This is when Hemlock, like right before he leaves, he's like, she's not going to be around to help you escape again. You know what I mean?
You know, she's back in, you know, in the cell.
Yeah, exactly. She will no longer be aiding in another escape. Yeah. Then he leaves the room, and then Omega and Emery run some tests. They're supposed to, and that's when we get that question. I'm glad you're for what it's worth. I'm glad you're safe. Emery says, and it's like Omega's like, am I though? Like, is this safe? Is this what you call safe? And you could tell Emery's like, yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm trying my best. I have to do this. Yeah, like we can't not do it. Anyway,
then we go back to Pabu, and like, you know, Hunter and Batcher are still making their way. They're doing some recon.
Yeah, they're like sneaking around.
Yeah, just double checking to see like where the Empire is, like, and they're all moving out. It seems like getting back to the Star Destroyer and getting ready to, you know, get out of there and everything. You know, Wrecker goes to Crosshair. He's like, I can't believe you let them take Omega.
Exactly. Which is like, I get it. I get why they blame him. But we saw what happened, you know.
But and to be fair, Crosshair is like, you know, first off, she gave herself up, and she did it to like protect the people here, like. All things that you all would have also
She's like,
done.
the Empire would have destroyed this town if she didn't make that sacrifice, and he reminds her it was her sacrifice.
Like, it was her choice.
It was like, y'all are like, I supposed to be her family. Like, we only met later. Like, y'all, you guys are like supposed to be OGs, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and it's funny, like, but yeah, they're kind of complaining their way to figure out how to track Omega,
and then
Crosshair finally
drops the bomb of Rampart.
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, there's this guy that I want that might be able to get us there, but he's sitting there like shaking because he clearly Hunter's like, what's going on? And he's like, why wouldn't you tell us? And he's like, well, I didn't necessarily want to go back to Tantus.
Yeah.
Until this moment, we didn't really have a reason other than Omega's basically like what he probably saw as naive attempt to free all these clones. Which is another reason Omega did it.
Yeah.
Is that you're forced she forced
their hands to actually help and do
something.
And do the right thing.
Yeah.
And like,
so it's great. She's very smart and she's got a
But you know what? Crosshair's not entirely wrong. Like he's like, you know, it's Rampart. We can't trust him to begin with. Like
he hates clones.
Like he's not gonna just like willingly help us, even if we do get him out of there. Like he's gonna be a dick about it the entire time. Like
he hates clones.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't, you know. But the Empire screwed him over, and you know he just wants some revenge, maybe. So like they're gonna use that, you know, to get him on their side, hopefully. And they're kind of complaining about not having a ship, not having a way back to Tantus, and that's when Crosshair tells them that, and then all of a sudden they're talking about getting there, and an intruder arrives.
An intruder alert goes off, and then their like center console thing starts going down into the ground, and who pops up from it? Fee.
Yeah. So Fee's there now. She snuck her way past easily. She knows what she's doing.
She put the ship in Ventress's, you know, cavern and stuff that we saw
and
earlier.
We'll see her way of getting past defenses later, which is amazing.
Oh my god, it's so great.
Yeah, so she's like, I got
we're going to Erebus.
Yeah, where are we going? She's ready.
Yeah.
She's ready to do this.
We're
going to Erebus, which is like has a labor camp there, right? So.
Yes. But I love Fee going to Crosshair, any friend of Brown Eyes is a friend is a friend of mine or whatever. Basically.
Right, which is like nice because she doesn't necessarily have a past with Crosshair.
No,
she knows only through tech, and through tech that was a complicated probably matter, right?
Yeah.
So they're going to this labor camp where Rampart is, and
we see some like trucks arriving and stuff, and like he's like a pipe fitter with
he's not having a good day, put it that way. Yeah, with an Ognot. Which we've seen
before, and so it was great seeing him with like the Ognot and whatnot, but like they can't communicate because Rampart doesn't know how to speak.
No.
The Ognot's like native language.
He doesn't seem like somebody who'd try. You know?
No, not even it. Not even.
So yeah.
But they have like a pipe burst and a bunch of steam and stuff coming out of it.
Yeah, and it's great because he doesn't deserve a good day. Honestly. So the boys are on Fee's ship and they're like formulating a plan with her, and she's like, I got him. She got a map from. She says a high price contact of hers. You know, she had to pay something.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to lead anywhere or what. But
yeah, she's a pirate. So
they're so she got the map and they were looking over the map and they're kind of like, what can we do? And they're like, can you get us down past the like perimeter basically, like without being detected? And she's like, yeah, I got that. I told you about my tricks. And
oh yeah, the tricks.
Yeah. But like she's like, yeah, but remember once you get in, there's still guards and there's still scouts, sensors, and you could alert guards, you know. So maybe let's figure that out too. And they're like, all right, well we'll find we'll find where Rampart is using the terminals, like hacking into a terminal. We'll find where Rampart is, and then we'll get his location, go there, and then we'll hit you up in the comms, and we'll get out of here. Boom, bam, bam. And it sounds simple enough, and then here we go. So Fee uses her trick to get down.
Cuts off all power to the ship, and they just do a nosedive.
It's great. So she's just free falling until the coast is clear, and then she kicks it all back on, and then they kind of take off. She gets the boys that dropped off and everything, and it's an awesome scene. It's very, very Star Wars. Rampart's tagged to be transported.
Yeah, they're moving them
to
the
prison from the mining structure, right?
Yeah.
So Hunter's like, best Best case scenario, let's get him en route.
In transit between both places, and that'll be our best bet. And so they're like, all right, well, how are we going to do that? They've got like sensors and scouts and everything all around there. They make it to a bridge. There's at one point where the truck has to go over a bridge, and there's rock fixtures and stuff basically that can cover them as they grapple onto it, which I love that. It's one of my favorite things in Star Wars. Is the grapple gun that is attached to all blasters.
Exactly.
I just love it. It is just the neatest thing. I love all of those toys and stuff. Like, oh man, it's just the coolest thing in the world. I love seeing it.
So they kind of take out a few troopers. They come up with a plan to get on the transport vehicle, and Hunter will take over the captain's spot and take over the controls, and Wrecker and Crosshair will go deal with Rampart, right? So they get onto the thing, right? And Wrecker and Crosshair take out a few troopers
with Plane 55.
Yep, exactly. they get Hunter in his spot, take out a few more troopers, and then they Rampart calls Crosshair CT-9904. Like total disrespect. You know what I mean? Still not respecting just like the general humanity. Of the clones. Like, so you could see where he's at still, like where he's at mentally. Like he's not in the Empire anymore, but he's still a piece of shit.
He's definitely not a good guy. And, like, I love Crosshair being, like, target acquired, and he's like, whoa, you're here to kill me?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, his whole attitude changes right after that. He's like...
And he's like, I wish, you know?
Not yet. There's a chance, you know?
He
like,
kind of interrogates him.
Never say never.
While he's interrogating him, though, like, there's back at the prison, they kind of notice something is off with the transport vehicle.
Because it, like, stopped at one point.
That's when they let it, and then they let everyone go.
And then they let all the other...
Wrecker's like, what do we do with them? You know, and
So you gotta let them out, which is actually pretty awesome that like they just let all those people out. Because...
so the warden's like basically pay attention to the comms, see what's going on, and they're like out and whatever. So Crosshair's interrogating Rampart, and Rampart's like, dude, I'll tell you, but you gotta get me off planet and out of this prison, and you know they're gonna agree to that, of course. But the prison warden kind of figures out that at this point that the
truck is compromised as they're approaching the bridge. They find out
like,
that
seal off the bridge, you know.
Close it off. The comms are jammed. Every time I hear comms are jammed, all I think of is Spaceballs in a giant glass container of jam being thrown at the sensors and the
There's a lot of jam in this episode. There's definitely a lot of jam in this episode. It started with jam. But the doors, like, it's beginning to seal off, and they're kind of playing chicken with another transport vehicle, and that has, like, you know, it's like an armored vehicle. It's huge. They can't just run into it, so they start taking out the wheels.
Which is great.
They start taking out the wheels and then take
and
that thing
And
out.
then they really ramp that thing.
And then they get over that, and then the door closes. So we're like, what? And they just, like, shoot through that thing real quick. And they begin to flee, and they start riding up the mountainside here.
Right. And, like, and inside we get
and
a quick
cut. It's kind
of
a cool
like
scenery,
spiral, going up there. But we also get a quick cut inside where, like, through all of the bouncing around and like busting through the barriers on the bridge and stuff, Crosshair, Rampart are like being knocked around back there, and a blaster comes loose. Rampart gets it, points it towards Crosshair, and then as he turns, it's shot out of his hand by Crosshair, which is something that I just loved.
And it shows where he's at still, right? Like he's willing to work with them to get back at the Empire, but he's not willing to work with them really. You know what I mean?
He's really not. Not even a little bit.
Like he's not willing to work on their like his shit going on.
and then Crosshair is just like, all right, I'm not dealing with you anymore. Stun.
Exactly.
Which is great. Like absolutely. Like Crosshair, I don't know why you kept him talking as long as you did.
So.
But
they finally they're going up the hill and they're getting chased down, and all of a sudden Fee comes out of nowhere with her ship and takes it out.
It takes out the gunships that showed up that were shooting them.
She's taking them out. She opens the hatch. They all kind of like jump out, and it's kind of like one of those it's a moment where like the transport thing's about to fall off the cliff, and Wrecker jumps on, and he's a big boy, you know.
Yeah.
So it almost seemed like he wasn't gonna make it, but he got on, and they kind of just take off with Rampart in tow.
Yeah. It's so great. So they get all that, you know, like Crosshair's like, we got you off planet. Tell us how to get to Tantus. And he's like, well,
nobody knows the coordinates. Nobody.
And it's designed that way, guys.
Yeah.
I
told you I'd tell you, right?
I told you.
But before they kill him, he's like, he's like, no, I think I still know how way to get there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you tell us now, or we're gonna drop you back in there, back into a cell. And he's like, well, we're all in this together now. And then, of course, they cut back to Tantus, and we're like, what?
Yeah, exactly. But it just shows that he does know how to get there, but there's no, like, technical way. Like, there's going to be a roundabout way to get there.
They're going to have to break into another place to get, like, something else, to get the key to the key, to get the map.
Exactly. Yeah, so back on Tantus, Hemlock's telling Omega why she's so important, like her M-count stuff, and, like, she can act as a binder. He's taking her through the, like, lab, and he takes her into her new home, where those 3 other Force-sensitive or M-count having kids are sitting, and she's just kind of looking around, taking it all in, you know.
And yeah, man, this was rough. Like him being like, you know, it can't be directly replicated, and you know, our attempts so far have been very degrading levels. So
like, how many attempts have they made?
Right. And then like, well, he said, so tried with degrading levels, and then his next thing is, so we experimented.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, what did you do? How many, what you just asked, how many were in the degraded levels testing area time before you were like, nah, you know what, we're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to do a little shake and bake here.
We're just straight up in the end game now. So like, whatever happens from now here on out. Like, Omega's here, like, if they get what they need. But, you know, hopefully Emery's looking out.
Yeah.
She does seem to have grown some kind of heart.
Yeah.
But we'll see how far that gets her, you know what I mean?
Hopefully. And yeah, man, seeing all that, and then like the devastation on like Omega's face was like, oh.
Yeah. But also calculating. Yeah. I could tell she was ready to go in there and ask more questions. She's trying to get to the bottom of what's going on.
Yeah.
Because she knows the boys are going to find her eventually, even though there's not a tracker. She doesn't know that.
Yeah.
She just has faith right now. She's not filled with nothing but hope, probably.
And it's like, she's waited it out for a long time before, but like, they still came.
Yep.
You know, they still got her. You know?
So she's ready to ride it out. She knew what she was getting herself into. She's kind of going into this with a clear head, unlike last time, and I think that's pretty sweet. And her training's just coming forward, and she's just very, again, cool, calm, and collected, and it's awesome.
Dog, what if this is Wolf's turn? What if Wolf frees Omega in the series finale?
That'd be sweet.
Oh, that'd be crazy. But yeah, so we don't know what's gonna happen next. It just, you know, she's looking around, screen goes to black.
Yep.
And with that, we're gonna wrap this up. I am JimmE with the Triple C Collective. This is
Collin.
And we want to thank you all for joining us. Please like and subscribe to our video and to our channel. And as always, may the Force be with you.